Hello, Hastings. Welcome up to St. Paul, state capitol. I'm Tom Wright. I'm here with your Senator Karla Bigham. Senator, thank you for having us up here.
Thanks for coming up and visiting me.
Happy to be here. Lots to talk about.
Yes.
It's been a busy session for you guys,
has.
especially you. I counted it up. It was 61 bills that
That's
you were
right.
chief author of?
That's right.
So we got a lot to talk about.
Yes.
Catching up to do. But before we get into that, I just want to, for those, District 54, that includes Hastings, Cottage Grove, Newport, Afton, Denmark Township, Nininger Township, and who am I missing there?
You got South St. Paul, Great Cloud Island Township. So, yeah, Cottage Grove. I mean, it's basically everything from Nininger North to South St. Paul and everything in between. It's just a very beautiful district that has the Mississippi and St. Croix on each side, kind of that whole southeast metro there.
Yes, yes. Well, let's talk about, we're going to get focused on Hastings here and first with some of the items, including Highway 61, Trunk 316, and City Hall. Let's start with Highway 61, the corridor.
Yeah, it's a big project that the city's undertaking. There's been a lot of public input and a lot of work done by the city, and I commend them for doing that because it is a much needed road improvement for safety and for traffic flow. And so we're looking at trying to fill a gap of money. And so it's about $2.5 million. So there's some options out there that I'm working on with Representative Juergens on whether it's cash appropriation or some other bonding or kind of a hot dish, if you will, of opportunities within pots of money that the state has available. But, you know, the state is really looking at passing a robust comprehensive transportation bill this year. And I'm hoping that this will help close that gap for the city on it, because it's a lot on property taxes if we can't close the gap. And
tell us, well, how about the dish on 316?
316-61 highway project is all lumped together. We do have a 61 project with lighting that will go from the Cottage Grove area down to the bridge. Representative Juergens and I have a bill doing that, and that's important for safety as well. We also have the City Hall appropriation for some bonding money to help do some repairs at the historic City Hall, which is a treasure, and it's like the first thing you see when you come across that big, beautiful bridge. And so we want to make sure that they have money for that. So those are some of the local projects we're working on, and I'm keeping tabs too on the Todd Field renovations with the city and the school and MnDOT. So we're keeping our thumb on the pulse for that to see if there's any way that we can help on that as well.
Right, I understand. Since it's adjacent to Highway 55 there, it's MnDOT needs to give its thumbs up.
Yeah.
Is there any signs of that they would perhaps not? Is there any reservation, do you think, on their end?
No, I mean, I think funding is going to be the key. I mean, if we don't have funding, these projects get delayed. So, which is one of the reasons why I support a comprehensive transportation bill up here. The last time we did it was when I was in the House, and Hastings knows well the true investment of a robust transportation bill when we got the Hastings Bridge. And so we have to have that discussion. We'll see how it plays out in the end as far as what the overall budget will look like. But I'm committed to passing a comprehensive transportation bill to help with these projects, 316-61, amenities along Highway 61, Todd Field 55 and 61 there. So we're going to continue to work with the administration and my counterparts in the House on a comprehensive bill.
Something else I know it's near and dear to your heart is on school threat assessment.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
So, this stemmed from the tragedy that happened in Parkland, Florida. And, there's I think a couple school of thought that, you could just remove a threat, like suspension, expulsion, and that doesn't really get at the root of what is going on in our schools, whether it is mental health or other issues that are going on outside of school that have an impact on a child. And every parent deserves to send their children to a safe school. Every child deserves to go to school in a safe environment and feel safe. And so what school threat assessments do, they're best practices. Whether it's the Secret Service, Department of Education, FBI, they all recommend this, is where you have a team in what my bill specifically does is allows for a team to service multiple schools in the district too. So it's not one per school. That same team can be part of multiple schools for those smaller districts. But it's a team of teachers, administrators, law enforcement, and mental health providers that will look at those triggering behaviors that may be indicative of whether it's bullying, whether it's just something going on at home that is kind of a precursor to maybe a tragedy occurring. And we want to stop that behavior and get at the root of the problem versus just removing it. And so Captain Randy McAllister from the Cottage Grove Police Department came and testified here in the Senate. We have the support of the Sheriff's Association and the police chiefs. I mean, this is just really getting ahead of identifying that threatening behavior. There is no profile of a school shooter. And so it really is looking at what is kind of having the common behaviors, what is triggering those, and how do we get services for those students so that we keep our schools safe, because we don't ever want another tragedy to occur in our schools.
And what is the status on that bill? Where is it at this point?
It is in Judiciary Committee, but I know the House is moving it along on their side of it, and the governor has it in his proposal. So I'm very hopeful that we'll be able to get this through by the end of session.
Great. Another one, and also a local one, related to cannabis products from hemp.
Yes.
Because we do have a hemp grower near town.
We do. Minnesota Hemp Farms, which is John Strophus, is the owner and operator of that. And industrial hemp is a very versatile product, and it is. I hope that we can get some of this red tape and get government and bureaucracy out of the way for our industrial hemp farmers. This is an industry that I believe Minnesota should and can lead on. We have the right foundation here in Minnesota to do that. It's an opportunity for our farmers that want it. There's over 400 or 500 farmers that want to participate and that do participate in the program. But I have a variety of bills. So the first one makes us compliant with the federal government. Last year, the federal farm bill decriminalized CBD and industrial hemp. And CBD is cannabinoids, and that is the product that is derived from industrial hemp. It is not addictive. It doesn't have THC in it, which is what's in weed. We don't have any of that in industrial hemp. And if there's trace amounts, it's not enough to trigger any hallucinations or any of those effects that you may get from weed. But I think the idea of using industrial hemp as a insulation, which is a more sustainable product than some of the other products that are on there for insulation in our roofs and in our walls and everything like that. You have textiles, you have food. Some people are trying to use it as a biodiesel product, cleaner than the products that we currently use. So there's just a lot of entrepreneur juice that we need to cut loose in this industry and really help our businesses. Our retailers need clarity, which is another one of my bills about truth in testing and labeling for these products that are in the stores. You can get online, you can order this from Minnesota Hemp Farms. I know that Hastings' very own Spiral Natural Food sells it, and the CBD products. And so, it's already out there. So let's make sure that you're getting the product that you know you're expecting to buy. And then here's another one that I think is very big. The medicinal marijuana manufacturer Leafline is in Cottage Grove. And right now, industrial hemp providers such as Strophus Farm cannot sell to Leafline. Why not? It would really diversify their product line if you could use industrial hemp and use CBD derived from industrial hemp. You diversify your market. You have a definite purchaser at the end, at the end buyer. And so I think it's a great opportunity for both industries that are heavily regulated to be able to work together, buy locally sourced product. So I think it's a win-win for everybody. That is alive and well in the legislative process here in a variety of bills. So we're going to keep pushing, but I do hope at the end of the day we have a better climate for our industrial hemp program, for our retailers, and for our businesses.
Let's talk about snow, because we got to go on right now, and forgiving schools for making out the snow days, which I'm
Yes.
sure a lot of kids are happy about.
Yep. So that passed overwhelmingly and went real fast through the process, which is rare up here. And all it does is allows the flexibility to school districts to count their educational days, and you have to report that to the Department of Education. But Superintendent Collins was very vocal about the need for that, and appreciated his support and information and communication on that, and also spoke with some of the school board members there down in Hastings to help give them that flexibility. Nobody wanted them to be penalized, and so this is a way to make sure that they weren't.
And has that happened before? Is the need for that?
No, that was the first time that at least that was how it was presented here. That had never happened before. So maybe it's climate change, and we're going to have to maybe be looking at making sure there's a little bit more flexibility for our school district on situations for climate.
Well, if under 18 could vote, I think you guys would have got a lot of voters on that one.
Right. Front page on the lit.
Yes, exactly. Let's talk about discipline procedures for local correctional officers and law enforcement in general.
Yes.
I know you've had some bills related to law enforcement.
Yeah, so corrections, it was a rough year and a lot of tragedy occurred with our corrections department, the Department of Corrections. We had 2 murders, and it's unacceptable. And so I am very passionate about this. So one of the bills I had is with the county correctional guards. Giving them parity with law enforcement on their disciplinary systems or procedures. There is a bill called the Law Enforcement Bill of Rights. And so it clearly states out the process and procedures for any disciplinary action that law enforcement may have to go through. Well, correctional officers are a very integral part of law enforcement process, so they should have those same rights. So that's what my bill did. So it talks about, what can be in their file, when things are recorded, evidence has to be turned over, just kind of having a very clear, transparent process for all parties involved when there's an accusation against a correctional officer. Here in the Senate, at least, it's a very low target in the committee that is going to fund corrections, and so I'm going to be watching very closely. It's about $44 million that we need to provide to the Department of Corrections to get them staffed up so that they're meeting their needs. And so the budget for the committee here in the Senate was not even that high. So it's a problem. And so we're going to have to watch out for that to see how I can help my counterparts on the other side of the aisle advocate for a larger target to take care of our correctional guards. But the House and the governor are adamant about this. So I am very hopeful that we'll be able to give correctional officers the support that they need to go home safe every night to their family, like they deserve. And they protect us, and they deserve to go home every night safely to their families. And that's what we're going to do here.
Distracted driving, another one.
Yes, very excited about that.
Yes,
very excited. So hopefully the governor soon. We'll be taking up the conference committee report soon here, and then it goes right to the governor, and he's indicated that he'll sign it. So there are 2 provisions in the Senate. The one that we'll be voting on soon to send to the governor is completely hands-free. So long time coming. It is an epidemic out there, and I very much support this provision. It was one of the top issues that constituents have contacted me on, was to pass it. You drive by and you see people, you're driving and you're focused on the road, and then you look over and somebody's doing this, and it's just been a lot of tragedy. And so I'm glad that we're giving law enforcement, the opportunity here to eliminate those side of the road discussions and arguments, and just being crystal clear, nothing in your hands, when you're driving, don't be distracted, and 2 hands on the wheel. The other side, which is not moving to my disappointment in the House as well, is increasing the penalties, Tom, because there's been a lot of tragedies related to distracted driving, and folks are just getting away with, running a stop sign. And people have died or been severely injured because of being hit or being involved in an accident with distracted driving. So what my bill with Senator Osmick's carrying it, and he's a Republican, that we're working together on, and it passed the Senate overwhelmingly, is increasing those penalties for reoccurring incidences and increasing the actual monetary fine on the incident. So hopefully that will go through the House, but this is a top issue, in people's minds and up here. So I'm glad that we're going to get this accomplished this session. It's a long time coming.
Any other bills that we haven't covered yet that you'd like to highlight?
I think when we look at the budget overall, which is our top issue up here, we have a balanced budget to produce, and I think that's front and center on a lot of people's minds up here. And so as we're going through the process, I appreciate hearing from people on education, on healthcare, prescription drugs, mental health, cost of prescription drugs, mental health. All these are issues and bills that I have sponsored, and I'm just hoping that as this budget comes forward, people call the office, contact the office to show their support or to suggest changes and ideas. We do take a lot of ideas that come from constituents and put them into bills. Janet and John Bremer from Nininger Township there, I have a bill making milk the default beverage for Happy Meals. They brought that to me on Dairy Day up here. They're farmers. The Dairy Association supports it. The Children's and Kids Nutrition group supports it. And so that's an idea right there is a classic example of when you call and meet with us, that we take your ideas and we try to make them a reality. So again, we have a big job to do up here in the final weeks. Please call and email, and I'm on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, so please contact me. It's how we do our job up here, is from hearing from your viewers.
One other question, I just wanted to ask you, overall, in general, how are things up here at the Capitol? I mean, are you guys getting along any better or worse, or how's it going?
Oh, I feel, I think a lot better this session. Last session I didn't get a lot of hearings, and I don't know if that was because I was the newbie and it was a little bit of hazing. I don't know. But this year I've had quite a few hearings, and I'm very excited about it. I have a lot of bipartisan bills, and I think that that's what people expect. And so they expect us to get along. They expect us to do the people's work, be mature adults up here, and have the conversations and advocate for our constituents. So I think I feel optimistic that we're gonna have a good budget. Not everybody's gonna get what they want, right? And that's part of it too. And that's in marriage, that's in a lot of things. You don't get everything you want. So you just, and in life in general. And so you just have to work together and be respectful. And I feel that that's happening up here. I think these budgets are not, in the Senate, are problematic. So I'm hoping that as we go through the process, they'll get better. And that they'll take some of our advice, as Democrats in the minority here, take our advice and help make these bills better.
Great. Well, Senator Bigham, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thanks for all you do up here in the state capitol for everybody.
Thank you. Thank you for coming up.
Of course. And thank you folks for joining us. That'll do it from the state capitol. I'm Tom Wright. We'll see you next time.